about statements? Statements. A statement is a declarative sentence. I don't know if I spelled declarative right. If you're an English major, I've offended you with my spelling. I apologize 1,000 times. It's a declarative sentence. What does that mean? What does that mean to be a declarative sentence? You must be able to decide, if the statement is true or false. The declarative statement's either true or it's false. No gray area whatsoever. Okay? No gray area whatsoever. Things like the sky is blue. Right? We can determine the truthfulness of that statement. So I would say that this is a statement. What about that? Go jump in the lake. Has anybody ever told you that? Something similar to that? Really? In essence, get lost. Is that a statement? It's a nice sentence, right? Maybe not the nicest sentence, but no, it's not a statement, right? What's the truthfulness there? No, it's like a command. It's like something. So this is not a statement. Not a statement. Let's emphasize that. Popcorn is the best snack ever. Is that a statement? What's that? It's kind of an opinion, isn't it? Right? The best snack ever, that's a relative statement, right? Depending on your point of view. I love popcorn. I think it's the best snack ever. Somebody else might like vanilla wafers, chocolate chip cookies, whatever, right? This is not a statement because the truthfulness of this will vary from person to person. Right? In a statement, the truthfulness, true or false, is not dependent on who's looking at the statement. Okay? So I would say this is not a statement. Okay? It's more of an opinion. It's a relative. You can't decide whether it's true or false. Right? Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States. True, right? True for you history buffs, that's true. Right? Abraham Lincoln was the best president we've ever had. Opinion. Right? Historians will argue about that. Somebody may say Teddy Roosevelt was a pretty good president. Some people think Bill Clinton was a really good president. Some people think Ronald Reagan was a very good president. Right? Everybody has their opinions. Can't tell me whether that's true or false. Okay? All right. Ooh. No. Let's get rid of that. All right. So, we can take a statement, and we can do things like this we can string some statements together to make compound statements. Compound statements. We'll use connective words to do that. Some of the connective words we'll use: and, or, here's one from geometry. Use them together, if then. Give me an example of something you learned in geometry class that you can use if then for. Well, finish the statement for me. If an angle's measure is less than 90 degrees, then the angle is acute. Right? Right? You use if-then statements a lot in geometry. If-then. Actually, here's one that's a little weird. The word not. Right? These are all kind of... The word not is actually considered a connective. It's kind of hard for me to explain it, but if you see it, you know you're dealing with a kind of compound statement. All right. So, we're going to use a lot of symbols in this class because it's going to get very tiring. If you wanted to write out a statement, and you had to use that statement a whole bunch of times in an argument, like a geometric proof, if we use symbols, we can write it in a sense in shorthand, and then you don't even necessarily need to know what the statement is. Now you know this. So we have special symbols for the word and. It's this symbol. An upside down V. We say that that is a conjunction. It's a conjunction. You're joining two things together. Joining two things together. An or statement is just the same symbol, but flipped back the way it should be. It's an or statement. That's a disjunction. Those are the only two I'm going to deal with for right now. We're going to do a whole section on if-then statements coming up. Stop that. All right. Let's talk about taking a statement and changing the truth value of a statement. Changing the truth value of the statement. Shane, what time did you say? 42? Oh, good. Really all time. All right, changing the truth value of a statement. It's called negation. Negation. We have a symbol for that as well. We use a little for lack of a better term, I forget what it's called, I call it a swiggle. Highly technical math term, it's a swiggle. You see the swiggle, you know you're changing the truth value. If it was true to begin with, now it's false. If it was false to begin with, now it's true. Okay? So for example, here's the other thing we do. We're going to use letters to represent our statements. Right? So instead of writing the sky is blue 100 times, we'll say P represents the statement the sky is blue. Right? We use these letters to represent our statements. And it just saves us a whole lot of writing, is what it does. Okay? It's kind of like in algebra class, right? Where you wanted to say f of x equals 3x squared plus 7x plus 12. Instead of writing 3x squared plus 7x plus 12 100 million times, you'd write f of x. That's all it is. Okay? So, what's the negation of p then? How would you change that? What word can we insert into here to change that truth value? Not. Right? The sky is not blue. So that's all we're doing. We are switching things. All right? Let's do another one. Let's say statement Q is the statement, I don't know, x equals 13, my favorite number. Actually, it's not my favorite number. My favorite number is 33. Does anybody know why my favorite number is 33? Larry. Oh, love it. Good job. Everybody knows who Larry Bird is? Yeah. One of the greatest Boston Celtics of all time, behind Bill Russell. All right, if Q represents statement x equals 13, give me the negation of Q. Very good. X not equal to 13. Let's let statement S represent y less than 0. All right. A little louder, what'd you say? Y is greater than 0. Does that cover all of the other possibilities for y?
Or equal.
Greater than or equal to, right? As long as y is less than 0, the negation of S would be this, all of the other possibilities greater than or equal to. All right, so if we're going to negate an inequality, we've got to take care of all of the other possibilities. Okay? That covers them, right? Y could be one of three things. It could be less than 0, it could be equal to 0. Let's try that. Okay? It could be less than 0, it could be greater than 0, sometimes it could be equal to 0. Right? We've got to account for all of the other possibilities. All right, let's work with these two statements for a few minutes. P is that it is going to snow. I know you have a hard time believing that today, but eventually it's going to snow. It's wishful thinking on a day like today, right? We spend all winter wishing for hot weather. Now it gets really hot. We wish it was a little cooler, right? We're never satisfied with anything. Right? The human condition. We're never satisfied with anything. All right. So if I give you that symbolic statement, let's write that symbolic statement out in words. What's it say? Disconnective means and. So, and we're going to write it in the same order that I give it to you. We'll see later it may not make a whole lot of difference, but sometimes it does. So let's write it in the same order that you read it here. You read it P and Q, right? That's what we say. We say P and Q. And in words it says, it is going to snow. And there's a game today. How would you read that in symbols? Elliot, how would you read that in symbols? No, in symbols, not words. Symbols.
Can you write it in symbol though?
I wrote it in symbols. Just read the symbols for me. P.
It's like the or.
P, or.
Negation.
The negation of Q. And another way, you get tired of saying the word negation, use not Q. Instead of the word negation, it's fine to use not Q. So you could read this, P or not Q. Either way would work, right? P or the negation of Q. That's a little word, right? P or not Q. All right, somebody else. Cassidy, give it to me in words, please.
It is going to snow, or
It is going to snow,
or there is a
or
game
there is not game. If you want to use the contraction isn't, that would be fine there as well. All right. What am I doing here? I'm negating the entire thing, right? It's kind of like putting a -1 outside a set of parentheses, right? -1 times x plus 4, right? You're going to multiply everything by -1. So, I'm going to show you, later on I'll show you a shorter kind of way to write this. But here I would say something like this. What we're going to learn later on, I'll give you a second to write it. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. I realize that you guys, well, I forget that you guys can't write as quickly as I can speak. What we're going to learn in the next few days, it probably will be tomorrow, is that when we negate an and statement, The negation of an and statement. If I'm negating the whole thing, it's going to turn it into an or statement. We'll see that down the road. Something called De Morgan's Law. You'll see. Okay. I think it's as far as I was going to take it today. All right, we got about 10 minutes left, a little bit more than 10 minutes. All right. The first homework assignment due tomorrow. 1 through 28. And I'm pretty sure that if you open the book right now and get to it, you'll get either all of it done or a good chunk of it done before the end of class. Here's what I do with homework. I grade it on a 4-point scale, 0 to 4, based on how much of it you get accomplished. Notice I didn't say how much of it you got right. How much of it you get accomplished. Your homework grades, classwork grades, I treat them the same. Any assignment I give you in class, any assignment I tell you to finish, it gets graded on that 0 to 4-point scale. And that goes into your grade for the trimester, the grade for the course. 5% of your grade comes from your homework. But if you don't do your homework, I know it's only a small amount, 5%. But if you don't do your homework, you're not going to do well in this class at all. You're just not going to do it. You have to practice these problems. Okay? So get the books out. Let's go. One other quick thing. You notice in the back, there's a young lady who looks an awful lot like you. She's nice and young. Her name is Miss Coynes. She's a teaching intern from the University of New Hampshire. She's working with Mrs. Goupel next door primarily, but she'll be in and out of our class throughout the course of the trimester. All right, there'll be some days where she'll be presenting the lecture and the lessons and assigning the homework. All right, if she asks you to do something, consider it the same as if I asked you to do something, okay? Treat her with the same respect you would treat anybody else in the room, any other teacher. Yes, sir? Yes. Okay? Yeah, the first, like, I don't know, 14, 15, 16 problems, something like that. It's just, is it a statement, is it not a statement? Right? If it is a statement, tell me whether it's compound or not. It is the 26th.